So I think that when we go outside and we go to do our training, there's a few rules I'd like everyone to observe. The first is we have a nice brand new training arena that they've constructed for us, which is amazing. There's a cement area with a stage. Myself and a couple of other Jedis will demonstrate the moves for you. We'd like all of you with lightsabers to do these moves along with us. But what I need you guys to do, if you have a lightsaber, come onto the cement. You can sit down for a little while till everybody collects. And afterwards we'll have you stand up and perform the training maneuvers so that we can evaluate them and make sure that you're all Jedi Knight material. The other thing I need you to do, if you're a parent or you don't have a lightsaber but are just watching, please stay around the outside perimeter of the cement area, because we want to make sure that nobody gets whacked with the lightsabers. And I know that that's their purpose and everything, but we're just training today, so we just want to make sure that everybody stays kind of clear of the blade. Now, I understand that tomorrow you guys are celebrating Independence Day, is that correct?
Yeah!
Excellent. So I have to say, I was looking into it a little bit. R2 is terrific. He's sort of like an online encyclopedia, which is amazing. So he was telling me that the reason you have an Independence Day is because a group of rebels stood up to an evil, tyrannical empire and fought their way out of it. And this sounds rather familiar to some of the things that we've gone through, especially if you're familiar with the Clone Wars that are going on right now. So it's kind of a fascinating corollary, and I have to say, congratulations for doing it an awful lot faster than we did. Of course, I think it was on a slightly smaller scale, and but you guys seem to be having a terrific time. Although, I must say that in talking to some of the people who are local here to Houston, and in fact Texas as a whole, there's sort of another independence you guys would like, so I thought that was kind of funny, that even though you have a lot of freedom, there's still want more, which, you know, on one hand is an interesting thing, but for now, I think that Independence Day, I think it's a marvelous celebration, and I hope you do it up big and have a tremendous celebration. That sounds really fun. Let's see. We have, I'm going to take a little bit of a poll and see how you guys rate. Now, the exhibit here is to study the cinema of George Lucas. We all, of course, know who George Lucas is. He's the one who is so very capably telling all the tales that happen in my universe, so that's terrific. I want to see, by a show of hands, which of the films you guys like. And let's see if we can figure out if there's a clear favorite. And we'll start with number one. You can tell me something when we're done, if you don't mind. Thank you. What we're going to do is we'll start with, first off, Episode 1. Whose favorite Star Wars film is Episode 1? I see a few brave souls raising their hands. It's very timidly. Okay, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Who likes Episode 2? Oh, there's a few more. All right, well, we've got a very large one back here. Excellent. Big hand up high. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Oh, there we go. Of course, you guys like the one where I have to beat up my best friend. Thank you. Episode 4, A New Hope. There we go. See, now all the adults are starting to raise their hands. Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Okay. And finally, Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Wow, that's kind of a tough call. I'm not sure. Okay, one more time. Episode 5. Episode 6. All right, so it was that metal bikini that Princess Leia had. I think that gets them every time. Now, one of the interesting things about George Lucas is, first off, in Star Wars, he's taken a lot of the things that we know, all the tales that we grew up with, and that you grew up with here on Earth, and distilled them into a completely different story that takes place in outer space. So, in terms of Star Wars, he did something really interesting, and it's kind of exhibited in the way you responded to the various films. So, for example, Episode 1, we had mostly young children responding that they liked it. Episode 3, we had more adults. And the same thing with Episode 4, 5, and 6. And so, what George Lucas did is he sort of aged his stories based on the people who were going to see them. So those who might have been 8 or 9 or 10 and saw Episode 4 were adults by the time they saw Episode 6, and the story got a little darker and a little more detailed by that time. And he did the same thing with the prequel trilogy. Episode 1 was for 9-year-olds, and Episode 3 was, for adults. So it's really kind of a very interesting thing to do. You may keep your lightsaber if you like. Just don't turn to the dark side. That's always my concern. I see so many red lightsabers here that I'm really very worried that some of you are going to go down that path. Of course, you never know how it might manifest itself. It may just be you get a little bit of road rage on the road, perhaps, which is why it's probably good that you haven't developed force abilities yet, because you'll be pushing people off the road to get out of your way. What I would like you all to do is orderly as you can, and I know we have a lot of excited Padawans here in the audience. I would like you all to exit to my right, which is your left. Come follow me out, and we're going to walk outside. We're going to meet up with the rest of our Star Wars ambassadors, and we are going to make our way to the training area.